Chapter 1. How the Whale Got His Throat. There once lived a very large whale. This whale was always very hungry. He liked eating fish. He ate and ate and ate until there was only one fish left in the sea. This fish was very clever. He hid behind the whale's ear and said in a soft voice, "Have you ever eaten a man?" "No, I haven't," the whale answered. "You should try one," the fish suggested. "I'm sure you'll enjoy it." "Where can I find a man?" the whale asked. "There's one sitting alone on a boat," the fish answered. "He's a sailor. His ship sank, and he lives on an island. Follow me, I'll take you to it." The fish swam away, and the whale followed it. Soon they came to an island. "Can you see the man?" the fish asked. "He's sitting in his boat." "Yes, I can see him," the whale said. As quickly as he could, the whale swam toward the man in his boat. He opened his big mouth and swallowed the man and his boat. When the man found himself inside the whale, he was very angry. He jumped up and down and shouted for the whale to let him go. He ran around and around inside the whale. He was very upset. All these movements made the whale hiccup. The small fish saw all of this. He said to the whale, "Go ahead and let the man out." The whale agreed and shouted to the sailor, "Come out! You are making me uncomfortable." "I will come out," said the sailor, "but you have to take me back home to my island." "Agreed," answered the whale. "I will take you home now." The whale got to the island very quickly. He opened his mouth to let the sailor out. The sailor didn't want the whale to eat people anymore. As he was about to run out of the whale, the sailor made holes in his boat to make a grate. The grate got stuck in the whale's throat. He left his boat and ran out of the whale's mouth. The whale now had the grate stuck in his throat. He tried everything to get it out, but he could not. From then on, he could not swallow anything large. This is why whales never eat people, not even small boys and girls. They can eat only very small fish. Chapter 2. How the Camel Got Its Hump. Once upon a time, there lived a camel. The camel was very lazy. He lived in the desert and never did any work. He just ate and drank and slept and ate and drank and slept. One day, a horse came up to him and said, "I have a lot of work to do. Come and help me." "Humph," grumbled the camel and continued eating and drinking and sleeping. A little later, a dog came up to him and said, "I have a lot of work to do. Come and help me." "Humph," grumbled the camel and continued eating and drinking and sleeping. Not long after this, an ox came up to him and said, "I have a lot of work to do. Come and help me." "Humph," grumbled the camel and continued eating and drinking and sleeping. The horse, the dog, and the ox were very angry with the camel. They had a meeting. "He is the laziest animal we have ever seen," they complained. "He never does any work. We have to work, but all he does is eat and drink and sleep. It's not fair. We have to do his work for him." A magician was standing near the animals. He heard them talking. "I believe you are angry with the camel because he doesn't do any work," he commented. The animals agreed that this was why they were angry with him. "I can do some magic," the magician suggested, "and stop him from being so lazy." The magician performed his magic, and suddenly the camel had a big hump on its back. The hump was filled with food and water. "You can live on what is in your hump for 3 days," he told the camel. "This means you can work for 3 days without eating and drinking. Now go and do your share of the work and behave yourself." "Humph," grumbled the camel, but he did as the magician ordered. And this is why the camel has a hump. We call it a hump and not a humph because we don't want to hurt his feelings. Chapter 3. How the Rhinoceros Got His Skin. One day there was a man who lived a simple life. He lived near the sea. He had only a small stove, some flour, a little sugar, and some dried fruit to eat. He baked the flour and the sugar and the fruit and made a cake to eat. Before he could eat it, however, a large rhinoceros came up to him. It had smooth skin and a horn on its nose. It frightened the man so much that he ran off and climbed a tree. The rhinoceros then ate the man's cake. The man was very angry, but there was nothing he could do. Then, some weeks later, the weather was very hot. It was so hot that when the rhinoceros came to the water, it took off its skin and put it on the beach. Then it went into the water and stayed there for many hours to get cool. While the rhinoceros was in the sea, the man went home. He baked another cake so that it was very hard. Then he broke the cake into crumbs, and he rubbed the crumbs into the inside of the rhinoceros's skin. When evening came and the day was cooler, the rhinoceros came out of the sea. He put on his skin and went away. But his skin began to itch. He scratched and scratched, but he could not stop the itching. It was the crumbs on the inside of his skin that were making him itch. All the scratching made his skin loose, and it began to fold. And this is why the rhinoceros has folds in its skin. It also made him angry, and that is why rhinoceroses have bad tempers. Chapter 4. How the leopard got his spots. The leopard did not always have spots. The zebra has not always had stripes, and the giraffe did not always have big blotches. At one time, all three animals had the same color all over them. For many years, the leopard and his friend, the Ethiopian, a strong man with black skin, hunted together. They lived in Africa, where the sun is very strong, which is why the Ethiopian had black skin. They hunted zebras and giraffes and ate them because they needed meat to live. There is a lot of sand in Africa, and the leopard could hide in the sand. The zebra and the giraffe decided to live somewhere else because the leopard scared them. "There is too much sand here," the zebra said. "There is nowhere for us to hide." "You are right. The leopard and the Ethiopian can see us easily," the giraffe said to the zebra. "Let's go into the hills so that we can hide among the trees." They went into the hills where there were many trees. Soon their skins began to change. The zebra grew stripes on his skin. The giraffe grew blotches on his. When they stood among the trees, they were difficult to see. The leopard and the Ethiopian now could not find anything to hunt. They were very hungry. "Do you know where the zebra and the giraffe have gone to?" the leopard asked a baboon. "To the hills," the baboon told them, "but you will not find them easily." The leopard and the Ethiopian went to the hills. They searched for the zebra and the giraffe. "I can smell a zebra," the leopard said, "but I can't see one." "I can smell a giraffe," the Ethiopian said, "but I can't see one." During the night when it was so dark they could not see anything, the leopard caught and sat on an animal. He did not know what it was, but it smelled like a zebra. The Ethiopian caught and sat on an animal. He did not know what it was, but it smelled like a giraffe. In the morning, the leopard and the Ethiopian saw the zebra and the giraffe. Before they could kill them and eat them, however, the animals ran among the trees. Now the leopard and the Ethiopian could not see them. "I know what to do," the Ethiopian said to the leopard. "I will make you difficult to see. I will take some of the color from my skin and put it on you." This he did, and soon the leopard had many black spots on his body. Now it was difficult for other animals to see him among the trees. He was able to hunt them and have food again. Chapter 5. How the kangaroo learned to hop. At one time, the kangaroo, which lives in Australia, was very different from the way he is now. He had 4 short legs, and he ran everywhere. One morning, he decided he wanted to be different. He went to the small god Nkwa and said, "Make me different from all other animals by 5 o'clock this afternoon." Nkwa shouted at him, "Go away!" The kangaroo went to the middle god, Nking, and said, Make me different from all other animals by 5 o'clock this afternoon, and make everybody like me." The king shouted at him, "Go away!" The kangaroo did not give up. He went to the big god Nkong and said, "Make me different from all other animals by 5 o'clock this afternoon. Make all the other animals like me. Make them run after me because they want to be with me." Nkong answered, "All right, I will." Then he spoke to the dog Dingo. "Run after this silly animal." The dog was hungry, and he ran after the kangaroo. He wanted to catch him and eat him. The kangaroo ran and ran and ran as fast as he could on his 4 short legs. Then he came to a river. There wasn't a bridge across the river. There wasn't even a boat. The kangaroo thought for a moment. He stood up on his hind legs and hopped across the river. With one great hop, he was across the river. The kangaroo hopped and hopped and hopped everywhere. The more he hopped, the stronger his legs became. And now, instead of running, he hopped everywhere. The dog ran after him, but could not catch him. At 5 o'clock, Nkong came out and told the kangaroo and the dog to stop running. Nkong said to the kangaroo, "Go and say thank you to the dog, Dingo." "What?" exclaimed the kangaroo. "Why should I thank the dog? What has he done for me? He just chased me and tried to catch me so that he could eat me." "Did you ask me to make you different from all other animals?" Nkong demanded. "Well, yes, I did." "How do you move from place to place now?" Nkong asked. "I hop," the kangaroo answered. "Did you hop from place to place before?" Nkong wanted to know. "No," the kangaroo uttered. "I ran." "Therefore, you are now different from other animals," Nkong told him. "Did you ask me to make animals run after you?" Nkong asked again. "Well, yes, I did," answered the kangaroo. "Dingo ran and ran and ran after you." The kangaroo was not pleased. He did not like having to hop everywhere, and he did not like having animals run after him. However, this is what he had asked for. The kangaroo said, "I thought you were going to use magic. Instead, you made that dog chase me. You made a joke of my wishes." Nkong answered, "I can make the dog chase you again if you want." "No," said the kangaroo. "I'm sorry. Please leave my legs the way they are. I was tired and hungry from hopping around all day." "Tell me about your problems tomorrow," Nkong said. He went away to wash. Dingo and the kangaroo were still hungry. They blamed each other for their hunger for the rest of the day. Chapter 6. How Armadillos Came to Be. One day, Mother Jaguar, a large cat who lives in South America, said to her son, "Go to the river and get yourself something to eat." "What shall I eat, Mother?" the young jaguar asked. He was not a very clever animal. "You'll see a hedgehog and a tortoise there. You can eat either of them, but be careful how you do it. The hedgehog will coil up when he sees you. He will push out sharp spines on his back, and you won't be able to eat him." "What will the tortoise do?" the young jaguar asked. "The tortoise will go into the river and swim away," Mother Jaguar told him. "But he cannot move quickly on land, so you will have time to catch him. He lives in his shell, so scoop him out of his shell before he can get away." "What shall I do about the hedgehog's sharp spines?" the young jaguar asked. "Drop him quickly into the water. Then he will uncoil, and you will be able to eat him," Mother Jaguar advised. The young jaguar went to the river and saw 2 animals there. "One of those animals is a hedgehog," he thought, "and one is a tortoise. But which is which?" "Excuse me," he said. "My mother has told me to scoop a tortoise out of his shell with my paw and drop a hedgehog into the water. But I can't do this until I know which of you is which." "Are you sure your mother didn't tell you to drop the tortoise into the water and scoop the hedgehog out of his shell?" the tortoise asked, trying to confuse him. "Or perhaps she told you to scoop the water out of the hedgehog and drop yourself into the water?" The hedgehog added. "I don't think she said that," the young jaguar answered, trying to remember his mother's words. "Please tell me what kind of animal you are," he added. "I'm not going to tell you," the hedgehog said. But you can scoop me out of my shell if you like." The young jaguar put out his paw to scoop the animal out of his shell. He thought it was the tortoise, but it was not. It was the hedgehog. He touched it, but a sharp spine went into his paw, and the hedgehog ran away. "Ouch!" the young jaguar cried. He put his paw in his mouth. It was hurting. "Perhaps you should scoop me out of my shell now," the tortoise said. "My paw hurts," the young jaguar cried. "Then drop me into the river," the tortoise said. "That will make me soft and easy to scoop out of my shell." The young jaguar agreed, and he picked up the tortoise and dropped him into the river. The tortoise swam away. The young jaguar went back to his mother and told her what had happened. "They have tricked you," she said. "You really aren't very clever. Now remember what I tell you. Drop the hedgehog into the river so that he uncoils his body. Scoop the tortoise out of his shell." The tortoise and the hedgehog knew that the young jaguar would come back. They decided to play another trick on him. "This time I'll take off my shell and coil myself into a ball," the tortoise said. "You wet your spines in the river and smooth them into a shell." The next morning when the young jaguar came to the river, he saw the two animals. The tortoise looked a little like a hedgehog. The hedgehog looked a little like a tortoise. The young jaguar ran back to his mother. He told her what he had seen. "Nonsense," she said. "A hedgehog always looks like a hedgehog. A tortoise always looks like a tortoise. You have seen a new animal. Every animal must have a name. I will call the animal you have seen an armadillo." And that is how armadillos came to be. Chapter 7. How the Crab Became Small. There was once a giant crab. He was so big that when he went into the sea, the water flowed onto the land. When he came out of the sea, all the water flowed away from the land, leaving it dry. The animals who lived on the land were tired of having too much water or too little water. These animals did not cause trouble for anyone and asked Man and his daughter to help them. Man and his daughter went to the great magician. "Please do something about the giant crab," they said. "There is either too much water on the land or there is not enough." The great magician spoke to the giant crab. "I suppose you think you are very important," he said. "I suppose you think you can cause everyone a lot of trouble." "It is not my fault," said the crab. "I have to leave my hole in the sea every morning to find food. Then I come back to the ocean at night to sleep." "You cannot behave the way you do," the great magician said. "It is not fair to the other animals." He then used his magic to take away the giant crab's thick shell. "Give me back my thick shell," the giant crab cried. "The birds and sharks will eat me now. I am not safe without my thick shell." "I will give you back your thick shell if you promise not to make trouble for everyone. But I must go into the water for food every day," the giant crab explained. The great magician knew he could not trust the giant crab. He said, "I will give you back your hard shell for 11 months of the year. On the 12th month, you will lose your hard shell and be soft. Do you agree?" The giant crab was not happy about this, but he agreed. "And I will also make you much smaller, so that every rock, hole and weed in the sea will be a safe place for you and your children. Now, the ocean will cover only part of the land when you go into the sea. When you come out of the sea, the water will flow away from the land." The great magician did this, which is why there are now thousands of little crabs on the beaches of the world. Chapter 8. The Cat That Walked by Himself. A very long time ago, all the animals were wild. The cat, the dog, the horse, and the cow were all wild. Their enemy was man. Even man was wild until he met woman, and she made a home for him in a cave. She stayed at home in the cave and cooked and kept it clean. One night, after a fine meal of meat, the man went out hunting. The woman began to sing a magic song. The dog heard this song. He said to the cat, "Can you hear that song?" "I can," the cat replied. "Let's go and find out who is singing and why," the dog suggested. You can go, the cat said, but I am the cat that walks by himself. All things are the same to me. The dog went to the cave. He smelled the meat. The cat followed him, but the dog did not know this. The cat hid and heard and saw everything that happened. The dog said, "O wife of my enemy, give me some meat and let me sit by the fire." The wild dog did not like man yet. "I will give you meat every day and let you sleep by the fire at night if you will help man when he is hunting," the woman said. "Very well," the dog said, "I will do that." The woman gave him meat and let him sleep by the fire. When the man came home, he was angry. "What is that wild dog doing in our cave?" he demanded. "He is not a wild dog now," the woman answered. "He is our first friend." And she told the man that the dog would help him with his hunting, and the man let the dog stay. The cat thought, "The woman is clever, but not as clever as I am. All things are the same to me, and I am the cat that walks by himself." The cat went away. The next night, after a fine meal, the man went out hunting. The woman began to sing her magic song again. The horse heard this song. He said to the cat, "Can you hear that song?" "I can," the cat replied. "Let's go and find out who is singing and why," the horse suggested. "You can go," the cat said, "but I am the cat that walks by himself. All things are the same to me." The horse went to the cave. There was green grass growing outside it. The cat quietly followed him and heard everything that happened. "Let me eat some of that green grass, O wife of my enemy," the horse said. The wild horse did not like man yet. "If you will let my man ride on your back," the woman said, "I will let you eat grass here every day, and I will give you clean water." "Very well," the horse said, "I will do that." The woman gave him some green grass and clean water. When the man came home, he was angry. "What is that wild horse doing near our cave?" he demanded. "He is not a wild horse now," the woman answered. "He is our first servant." And she told the man that the horse would let him ride him. The cat thought, "The woman is clever, but not as clever as I am. All things are the same to me, and I am the cat that walks by himself." The cat went away. The next night, after a fine meal, the man went out hunting. The woman began to sing her magic song again. The cow heard this song. He said to the cat, "Can you hear that song?" "I can," the cat replied. "Let's go and find out who is singing and why," the cow suggested. "You can go," the cat said, "but I am the cat that walks by himself. All things are the same to me." The cow went to the cave. She saw the green grass growing outside it. The cat followed the cow, but she did not know this. The cat hid and heard and saw everything that happened. "Let me eat some of that green grass, O wife of my enemy," the wild cow said. The wild cow did not like man yet. "If you give us milk every day," the woman said, "I will let you eat the green grass and protect you." "Very well," the cow said, "I will do that." The woman gave her some green grass. When the man came home, he was angry. "What is that wild cow doing here?" he demanded. "She is not a wild cow now," the woman said. "She is the giver of good food." And she told the man that the cow would give them milk every day. The cat thought, "The cow is foolish, and the woman is clever, but not as clever as I am. All things are the same to me, and I am the cat that walks by himself." The cat went away. The woman did not sing her magic song again. The cat waited and waited, but he heard nothing. He went to the cave to find out why. He saw the dog sleeping by the fire. He saw the horse eating grass. He saw the woman taking milk from the cow. The woman saw the cat and said, "Go away. We do not need you. We do not need any more friends or servants or givers of good food." "I am none of those things," the cat said. "I am the cat that walks by himself. All things are the same to me. But can't I ever come into your cave? Can't I ever sit by your fire? Can't I ever have any of the milk from the cow? How can a beautiful woman like you be so cruel, even to a cat like me?" The woman said, I knew I was clever, but I did not know I was beautiful. I will make a bargain with you. If I praise you once, then you can come into the cave. If I praise you twice, you can sit by the fire. If I praise you 3 times, you can drink milk from the cow." Time passed. The woman and the man had a baby. The baby cried and cried. The man and the woman did not know what to do to stop him from crying. The cat heard the baby crying and went inside. The baby stopped crying and stroked the cat's soft fur. He liked the way it felt. The cat found a piece of string and played with it. The woman saw this and said, "Thank you for stopping our baby from crying." The baby watched the cat and laughed at its game. The cat felt happy and began to purr. The baby liked the sound and was happy. He soon went to sleep. The woman said, "You are a very clever cat. Thank you for helping the baby to go to sleep." Suddenly, a mouse ran across the floor and scared the woman. The cat caught the mouse and the woman praised the cat a 3rd time. "You have praised me for the 3rd time," the cat said, "so keep your side of the bargain. Let me come into the cave, sleep by the fire, and drink milk from the cow." "Very well," the woman said, "but you must always let the baby stroke you. You must make the baby laugh with your games, and you must make the baby happy with your song." "I will do all those things," the cat said, "but remember that I walk by myself, and that all things are the same to me."
Playlet. Just So Stories. How the first letter was written. Taffy is sitting by the river with her father, Tagumi. He is trying to spear a fish. His spear hits a rock and breaks.
"Look what I have done! My spear hit that rock. Now it is broken. I will not be able to catch any fish to take back to our cave. Your mother will be angry."
"I'll run home and get another spear, Father."
"No, Taffy. It is a long way, and you are only a little girl with short legs. I will try to mend my spear."
Tagumi finds some long grass and uses it like a string. He sits and begins fixing his spear. A stranger walks up. He does not speak the same language as Taffy and her father. He tries to talk to her.
"What is the man doing? Why won't he look up at me? Is he such a great chief that he is too important to speak to me?"
"I can't understand a word you are saying. Please, speak slowly."
"I can't understand a word you are saying. Please speak slowly."
"Why can't you speak my language?"
"I am sorry that the great chief won't look at me or speak to me."
"I want you to do something for me. We do not have the same language, so I must draw what I want you to do. Watch me."
Taffy takes a piece of white bark from a tree. She finds a sharp stone. She begins to draw pictures on the bark with the stone.
"Look, this is my father. He has a spear in his hand. It is broken. He is very sad. Here is a picture of the cave where we live. This is my mother. You are showing her a picture. Now she is shouting at a friend in another cave. The friend is running toward her. My mother is showing her the picture of my father and his spear. Now the woman is running to her cave. She is going to find another spear. Do you understand?"
Taffy stands up and, holding the piece of bark in front of her, pretends to run off. The man understands. He takes the piece of bark from her and runs off.
"The stranger has gone to our cave to get you another spear, Father."
"Did he understand what you wanted him to do?"
"Oh, yes. I drew him a picture."
At the cave, Taffy's mother is cleaning a skin of an animal. The stranger runs up. She looks up at him. He hands her the drawing. She looks at it and screams. Men and women run out of their caves. "My husband is hurt. Look at the spear. Men from this man's tribe have attacked him. This drawing tells us that soon they will attack us. We must get ready to fight, but first we must make this man a prisoner." The men and women make the stranger a prisoner. Then they get their spears and run off to the river. When they get there, Tagumi is fishing again, and Taffy is watching him.
What are all of you doing here? What's the matter?
Where are our enemies? Why aren't you lying on the ground? You should be hurt.
What are you talking about?
Look at this picture on this bark. This stranger brought it to me.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I wanted to send you a letter asking for another spear for Father. I don't think my drawing was very clear.